What's up, guys? Evolutionary Podcast coming your way. We have another great episode. Steve Smee here, and I got Rick. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Steve? What's up, guys? How's everybody doing out there?
Checking in, man. Another day. So let's get into our topics. We have some really cool topics, guys. The first one is going to be about traveling with steroids. Let's start with that. Traveling with steroids. Let's say you're on cycle and you got to go and travel, either domestic or international. What do? Do you stay on cycle? Do you stop your cycle? Do you take your steroids with you? What are the laws when it comes to that? Rick, you travel a lot, and I'm assuming that you've been in this predicament many, many times. What's your advice on this? What are the best, safest things to do in that situation?
All right. Well, one thing to just right off the bat, I'll say the worst idea anyone could have is try to bring steroids with them on an airplane into the United States or into, Australia or UK, one of these really first world countries. You don't want to fly in with steroids, first of all. That's probably not a great idea. But if you already live in one of these countries and you're flying out of the country or flying within the country and you need to take your gear with you, then there's some things you can do to make sure that it's, it's stealthy and that you don't have a lot of explaining to do. Now, again, going into the country, into one of these first world countries like US, UK, Australia, Canada, and let's say you're coming from a third world country, your plane is going to be looked at it more closely than if you're flying in from another first world country. So if you're coming in from out of the country, just be careful. Now, as far as flying with your stuff, right? Now, I'm not going to tell anybody out there do this, but as far as flying with your stuff, tablets. If you got tablets or capsules, I travel with a lot of supplements, and sometimes I'll have my monthly pack of pills with me that has the little container with the 30 days of little tablets and capsules I can put together. What are those things called, Steve? A pill organizer or something?
Yeah, there's little $2-3 pill organizers you get from like the drugstore.
Yeah. So I'd have one of those, and you just stuff them, man. And if you have 10, 15 different items in each one of those, and one of those happens to be, or a couple of those happens to be your steroids, chances are they're going to be pretty stealthy there. If you don't bring the bottles with you, but you bring those pill organizers for the week or the month or whatever, and you just put your things in there casually, you'd have to be getting taken a look at, and they'd have to test all your stuff. I mean, it would get really complex at that point. So right off the bat, one of the things you don't want to do, just remember, is take anything with labels or boxes or stickers, anything that says what's in it. Loose tablets, liquid that's been put in a different container. Again, you're looking at testing before they can even tell what it is. And from what I can tell so far, and I could be wrong about this, but from what I can tell, at the international airports where the freight comes in, where the packs come in, they have like a mobile mass spectrometer that can test things on the spot and tell them what it is. But I don't think customs, where people go through, they have that item yet. I know they, when they're testing for people bringing in narcotics and other things, they have the field test that change colors. So again, you'd have to be really a target, and they'd have to have a really good reason to look at you. Maybe being 230, 240 pounds ripped might make you subject, and they might think you're already doing something. But again, if you have your BCAAs in your pill organizer with your creatine caps, with your multivitamins, with your stuff, and you got a couple of tabs in there, they might not find them. Another thing you could do, which is very, very nifty, very crafty, you could bring bottles of legal over-the-counter supplements with you. And then if you have capsules, just swap out one of the bottles completely for one of your capsules of your good stuff. If your stuff comes in tabs or some of these smaller tabs that you can maybe break in half a little bit, you can open your bottle, let's say, of Entuslin, right? Now, I'm not saying anybody do this, but Entuslin, HCGen, whatever, right? And you pull it out, you pour out some capsules, you pick some out, and you open them. and you let somewhat of what's inside pour out. Then you you break your tabs in half, and you stick them in the capsule, and you close them back up. And then with a little knife, you make a little mark on both sides, so it looks like a little mark, almost like a little screw, almost. And you do that to every capsule that you've loaded with your tab of juice of sauce. You put a little mark on it, and then you toss all the fucking caps back in that bottle. So now you might have a bottle of HC Gen that's got 100 tablets, 100 capsules of just HC Gen, and then 50 that are loaded with a little Tavadibble that's broken into. And the way you can tell which is because you made a little mark on both edges of the capsule, and you know which one is which. So even if you got down to it where you were really unlucky and they took your bottle of HC Gen and this of N2 Generate, said, "What is this?" And you'd have a 3-to-1 chance that the capsule that gets tested might not have the sauce in it. As far as liquids, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steve. You got something, Steve?
Yeah. So wouldn't they be looking for that though? Because if you're trying to smuggle like heroin or cocaine from another country, hasn't someone already thought of doing that? Like, wouldn't they think like, wow, this guy has these supplements? Wouldn't they already think like, wow, this is kind of suspicious, or no? Like,
Okay, good question. Well, like I said at the start, you don't want to bring anything into the country. I'm talking about if you're flying out of the U.S. to Dominican Republic for a vacation and you want to continue your cycle. If you're flying from, New York to L.A. and you got stuff to do, it's just a stealthy way of bringing it. But if you're coming into the country, man, and you're going through customs, one thing, it's not really even about your answers or what you have on you. It's about your attitude. And if you're not a career criminal, when you're in front of a customs officer and you've got some shit on you that you're hiding, you're gonna get nervous and you're gonna begin sweating, and your pupils are gonna dilate, and your hands are gonna shake a little bit, and they'll just know right away before they even open your stuff that you're fucked, that you're doing something you're not supposed to, because you're not a career criminal. So flying into the U.S., flying into the UK. Look, didn't Stallone go to spend a night in jail or two for trying to fly his testosterone, or what was it, human growth hormone into Australia? Was it?
Correct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you definitely do not want to fly into a first world country carrying anything illegal. And steroids are Schedule 3 in the U.S. So if you're at JFK Airport, if you're at Miami Airport, LAX coming in, and you've got steroids with you, it's in no prescription, no U.S. prescription, by the way. It's got to be U.S. prescription. But if you have some steroids with you from out of the country and no real prescription, it's as good as having heroin or cocaine with you. You know what I mean? But what I do mean is, in case you're going for a trip, you stealth out, 50 tabs and turn them into. So that way, man, look, you might be in Miami hanging out, and you just don't even want to leave in your room a bottle of juice. You don't want to carry with you stuff that looks suspect just for any reason. So you can stealthily load it in some of your capsules from over-the-counter supplements and go. And again, there are no customs flying inside of the U.S. There's also no customs on the way out of the U.S. Some countries will do customs on the way out. Like some countries that have problems with drugs coming out of the country, they will have customs on the way out. So let's say you're trying to bring steroids to the U.S. from Mexico or Dominican Republic or South America. They might catch them on the way out, because they'll check your stuff before you leave. Something the U.S. doesn't do. The U.S. it's not worried about you smuggling stuff out. They only worry about what's coming in. So, these things I said work. Also, if you have liquids, if you order some auxiliary stuff, oral liquids, just buy the little pack, the ones that are legal for flight, for carry-on, replace it, and always check that shit in. By the way, another thing, you never want to carry on any liquids, any tablets, any supplements, anything, bro. Just check that shit in, check it in. Because carry-on, not only are they also worried about you taking stuff you're not supposed to, which is always a problem with plane flight, but carry-on, they're worrying about you doing something dangerous inside of the airplane. So there's an extra level of scrutiny that carry-on packages go through than check-ins. Check-in, they're just worried about the regular stuff, but not worried about you doing anything funny on the plane. Carry-on, you could You could, they'll look at your bottle of supplements and they'll say, what's in these tabs? What powder is in there? They might worry you're doing something weird.